Welcome back to the Joe Mack podcast. I have a very special guest, actor, director, and assistant producer. His name is Gerren. I've had the pleasure of working with him on several projects, and he has an upcoming soap opera titled Promised Land. I'll be starring in that as well. Gerren, great to have you.
Hey, glad to be here. Happy Sunday. How are you?
Happy Sunday. Fantastic. Fantastic. What can we expect from this new soap opera from you?
Well, first thing we can expect is number one is I want to tell all the soap fans out there, guys, FYI, our industry isn't dead. In spite of what all the haters say, all the naysayers say, guys, soap is not dead. We are still live and kicking. We're the only kind of television in the world that still produces daily programming, even in spite of what's going on right now. So we have nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about. We are literally going to be the mainstays on television for many, many, many more years to come. So want to get that out there. But
Gotcha. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just wanted to know, for the audience that is not familiar with you, what's your background and what made you decide to produce a soap opera?
Well, a little bit of background about me. The 90-second version. I got started in the entertainment business back in March of 1997. So my anniversary is coming up in 5 days' time. It'll be 23 years that I've been in this business. Started off as a child actor doing commercial print and children's modeling and small bits in small television shows and television pilots, and also doing children's theater. And it's over nearly a quarter of a century later that this is how I pay my rent. Of my most recent works, if you watched the Super Bowl, you saw my Super Bowl commercial I did with Martin Scorsese and Jonah Hill for Coca-Cola. Just did a new television show called Stumptown for ABC with Michael Ealy and a couple other notable people in the television business. And also did a little bit of recurring work on the TV show For All Mankind on the Apple Network. So I'm all over the place. So that's where I've been. That's what I'm doing right now. And then how I even got into doing daytime, I got to give a lot of praise and a lot of thanks to my late grandmother Ruth, who passed away back in June of last year. There wasn't one soap opera she didn't watch. She watched them all. She watched One Life to Live, All My Children, General Hospital, As the World Turns, One World, and Guiding Light. So growing up, every day after school, she'd pick me up from the bus stop. And we'd come back to the house. He'd have a little afternoon snack, and we'd turn on the daytime soap operas, and I'd watch a couple of them here and there with her, and just seeing how captivated she was with the stories and where the characters were going with their storylines, and just how the daily situations were so relatable, to having kids, to having internal family squabbles, to getting a job, losing a job, getting a house, losing a house, getting married, getting divorced. Like all these things we all can sometime or another say we've experienced something like that of the sort. Maybe not as thematic, but definitely we can say we've experienced some sort of loss, grief, or success in our life. So that is why doing a soap opera was so meaningful to me. But also, having worked on every single medium of our business, everything from movies to miniseries to short films to music videos to every single way we can do a product in this business. I've done one of each, and ultimately television was always where I felt I thrived the most. But then daytime is where I said I know is where I can succeed the most.
Where can people find this new show, and why should people watch it?
Where you can find this new show, we will be airing exclusively on Facebook Watch and Instagram Live for season 1. And those are all free streaming services, so you don't have to sign up for anything. No subscription fees necessary. And we will begin airing starting on Labor Day weekend, the first Tuesday after Labor Day. So no need to set your DVR, because we are will be available to you guys 24/7 at no charge. And why do I believe, or what people do I think believe will watch it, was your question?
Yes. Why should people watch it?
Let me ask you this question. Did you watch any movie that was terrible? Probably yes. Did you watch any television show that was terrible? Probably yes. So let me say this. You gave them a fair chance, give us that fair chance. But in retrospect, you've got answers to your questions. You have questions in your life of, what more could a television show do for me? we are that response. Can we take you somewhere that you think maybe, just maybe, you have been, but didn't necessarily think it took you there to the best of that actor, that writer's ability? We are that response. So,
I see. Now, you and I have appeared on multiple films, TV shows, commercials together. When did we first cross paths? 2015?
2013, actually.
13, okay. Gotcha. And since I've known, I mean, when did you start writing the script for Promised Land?
Well, the first experimental version of the script I started writing was back in 2010. That was the first experimental script I had of it. And granted, I say hands down, if I was still talking to myself when I was 15 years old, I'd still like, Gerren, that was some of the most dog shit I've ever seen. Pardon my French there. So yeah, it has been a 10-year in the making product. But when I finally sat down and got with not just the right people, but with the right background of it and a real firm understanding of what works and what doesn't work, I'll say the first full-on experimental version of this script that went to network, that went to the director, that went to the actors, was in November 2019.
Okay, gotcha. And then, how was the process choosing the characters, choosing the people to play the characters, the way that you see it, the way that you want it to be displayed and communicated?
Well, that started off with 184 people that came in for one day of open call auditions, yourself included. Yes, you were one of 184 people that came and auditioned, and then you were one of 60 people that came to callbacks, and then were one of the only final 10 that were in contention. So, I'll say the selection process, was not as long as traditional television shows will have. I've been in cattle calls for some television shows that they saw over 10,000 people. And it took them maybe a better part of a year to decide who was going to even come to callbacks, and then maybe another 4 to 6 months of who was coming to screen testing, and then maybe another 2 months to decide who was coming to that first table reading, that first rehearsal. So, I had a little bit easier because when it came to selecting, it was a much smaller pool. I didn't want necessarily to say I had a cattle call of 1,000 people all for one part, because there's a strong chance that only 5 of you may actually even fit what we're looking for aesthetic-wise. So the selection process wasn't as complicated as most people have been in for other jobs, but I hate saying it. I personally don't like having to. I don't like having to make that final choice, because at the end of the day, I know everybody did a fantastic job, and I want to say that to every actor that came out and read for us. You all did an amazing job, and I thank you. I appreciate you guys for coming in and strutting what you had and putting every bit of yourself in your audition. I appreciated it. In words that you can never truly understand. So I thank you all for your talent and your time in that. And for those of you that came to callbacks and that came to screen testing, and that, especially for those of you that came into screen testing, and did those impromptu soliloquies that you weren't expecting, because that is what daytime is. It's about your shock value, and people still have shock value, and that's one thing that daytime television does better than any other form of medium out there. Even movies think that they can still do it. I don't know if you saw the latest rendition of the Star Wars franchise, where they thought they could shock us with Luke Skywalker at the end of Force Awakens, and then him finally speaking at the end of The Last Jedi. So the way I see it, shock value in movies isn't what it used to be anymore. Whereas in daytime, no, we can go one of 5 different ways. I could kill you off in episode 3, but in actuality, that was your brother I killed. There's so much more shock value to be said there, and I really want us to tap into those those skills again.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to working with you again, Dante Dumas as well, and Amy Johnson in particular. I'm really looking forward to that. I think you got a great cast.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And you brought up two of the characters. Well, you brought up one of the characters right now who making an appearance in season 1 is union actor Dante Dumas, and I'm grateful he was able to get back into town and just in enough time for the table reading. Fuck you, COVID-19. Oops. Probably shouldn't have done that one there, but I don't know about you all, but I mean, this thing isn't slowing us down. The Promised Land train is still rolling, and if you fall off, in the duration of it, I'll say this: there's always room for more, and you can hop back on any old time. Just like Ozzy Osbourne said, this crazy train, it ain't stopping for nobody, but it'll always make room for everybody. That's how I'm looking at it. But on top of that, you mentioned Amy S. Johnson, who she will be playing a character in the show down the line. But let me tell you all this because I don't want to throw any spoilers. If there's ever a time for y'all to hate somebody, now's the time. If there's ever a time for y'all to love somebody, now's the time. Because she'll be playing one of the most difficult characters in the show. So, Amy, I'm going to be putting some mileage on you, so you better bring your A game.
That's right. Amy, look forward to our interview as well, coming soon. Gerren, what does Promised Land mean to you? I know it means a lot to you. If you could sum it up, what does this project mean to you?
Well, I did this to all my actors when they came in to read during the screen test. I had them basically sum up what this project would mean to them in one word. And I know they probably hated me for that. But for me, it would be finality. And I say finality in the sense of, I'm doing this project with the intent of it being my last one. The last thing that my company, Raw Hall Productions, will be putting out, and it'll be what I'll be doing to retire my company. So everything I wanted to do, all the things I wanted to say, all of the stops I wanted to pull, all of the storylines I know I could crank out, is all coming here. So that's why I say it's finality, because that's what life is once it's over. You go to the Promised Land, and that's, nothing more I could say about that than this project summing up for me in one word is finality.
Perfect. What's the big picture? How are you going to measure the success of this soap opera?
How I measure the success? Well, it'd be unfair for me to say I'm putting it up against the successes of other shows because unfortunately I can't do that. I can't do that to Bradley Bell. I can't do it to Frank Valentini and Carl Calvardi. I mean, they're all spectacular, very successful producers, and they've done great things with ABC and CBS shows in the past. And they've all basked in that opportunity of saying they were Daytime Emmy Award winners. So I say for me, what I'm going to measure it up to, I'm going to measure it up to not just my successes, but the successes of everybody else. I've read all your resumes extensively, and they're all very, very well documented on the Promised Land Instagram and Facebook pages. That the way I see it, the way you guys have succeeded, and the way I've succeeded is how we're as a team going to succeed. Like we never set, but one of the big things I want us to focus a lot on, as well as not just us as a cast and crew, but even our audience, guys. If you do take to social media and want to comment on one of our episodes, I ask of you, the one thing I'm going to ask of you all besides to watch it is do not, and I'm going to say again, please do not tell us good job. I don't want to hear that. If we did great, please tell us we did great. But if we did bad, please tell us. Because I'm not settling for doing a good product because I've been a part of plenty of good products. And a handful of them have only gone so far. They either made no money, they lost money, or they made money they never should have made in the first place. So that's one reason why I'm offering it on a free service for the first season. Because I don't want to take your money for something that you said was just good.
Gotcha. Gerren, anything else for the viewers?
Yeah, three things I'll send you guys home with. Like I said previously, I'm going to say it one more time. It's offered on free services, so you don't need to sign up for any subscriptions. You don't need to drop any money down to watch the show. Instagram Live, or Instagram TV, and Facebook Watch, and the Twitch Network. All are free services. You can watch it all at Promised Land, the soap, on all of our platforms. Number 2. If you have any questions at any time, you guys want to drop me a question, or if you're an actor or you work in the industry and you want to try to get involved down the line, we have a new website coming, and that'll be promisedlandtv.com. That'll be coming soon. Therefore, you guys can send me your resume, send me your demos, whatever you got, because we'll be casting over 100 different day players and guest stars for the whole first season. The casting team, they're really excited to start putting out some of them breakdowns, and I'm equally excited to start looking at some of these tapes to see who may be playing some of these other characters. So that's something to look forward to, not just for you, the audience, but for you, you the workers. And then number 3, stop and take 5 minutes and ask yourself this question, or these questions, so I say. What did I do yesterday? What am I doing today? What am I doing tomorrow? And is anything to what I did or doing or I'm going to do going to get me to that grand promised land that we all hope someday to get to? And if you don't have an answer for that question, watch our show. If you need help answering that question, watch our show. If you thought you had the answer to that question, watch our show.
Gerren Hall, thank you so much for being with me. Tune in next time to the Joe Mac podcast.
Hey, I was glad to be here, Joe. Thanks for having me.
From Promise. Oh, yeah, absolutely, brother. Anytime.